Hello Orchid friends, welcome back to my channel. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, staying healthy and staying safe. Today we're looking at my Bluestar. This is an interesting cross. It's between Equalacea and Jennifer Palamo. And Jennifer Palamo is a cross between tetraspis and violacea indigo. So this orchid essentially has 50% violacea, 25% equestris, and 25% tetraspis. So I will consider this a near primary hybrid, but not quite. In this video, you'll also see some comparisons, some videos and photo footage of this orchid being side by side with my other orchids, just to give you a compare and contrast of how their purple/blue color compare. This orchid is very fragrant and has a sequential bloomer capability. So if we go back in time, you'll see that this orchid originally came to me as a mature sized plant. However, it did not have any spike, and was after a couple months under my care that it started to grow one new leaf, and then soon after that it started to show signs of flower spike. So I was very happy that it happened, because honestly, when you purchase a orchid without spike and it's telling you that it's near blooming size or mature size, you actually never know for sure when you'll see the flower. But this orchid didn't take much time. It gave me 2 spikes pretty much in a couple of months under my care, and I was very happy. I knew I wanted to train the spike somewhat, because the way that the leaves were already kind of tangled, and I don't know, it was just in a really awkward position. So I wanted to train the spike so that they're not buried or somehow get affected by the way the leaves were. I didn't want the flower spike to get crooked essentially. So when this orchid first opened its first bloom, I was very surprised by its fragrance. It's really sweet. I was thinking it would just have that violacea smell, but it's actually a lot sweeter than most violacea that I have. So it's definitely a good sign. It's probably because of the tetraspis. It's also rather waxy, even though some of the photos may not seem so. And its color is also very interesting. Yes, it's purple with a little bit of red hue to it, but the thing is, it has the violacea glowing color to it, if you will. So I was very pleasantly surprised by the way that the flower looked, the color, and also the flower they're pretty relatively flat. And I love that about this orchid, because some of my orchids, they bloom, but you know, their flowers don't always look very fully extended. So a month and a half later, it continued to produce more buds. So I was pleasantly surprised. I was thinking maybe the first time I would only get 2 flowers, but no, this orchid just kept on coming. The care I give to this orchid is relatively basic, and that is 1/4 cup of water, and within this solution I already have 25% of the recommended dosage of fertilizer in the water already. So that's what this orchid gets. And in terms of 1/4 cup amount, it usually, if I touch the moss on the 6th or 7th day, it's definitely almost dry. So I would say this orchid receives water every week. In winter time, I do scale back with 1/8 of a cup of water for this one, because the moss is still looking okay, but it's looking a little old, and I think for older moss, it retains even more water. So I didn't want to chance it, so I decided to cut back on the watering. But other than that, this orchid did really well this time around, and I'm thinking this orchid will have to be repotted in the coming spring, because I really want to transfer it to an inorganic traditional setup. And then using the double cut method that I have always used for most of my orchids, I would then go between semi-hydro and traditional setup depending on the needs of the orchid. And just the other day, I was looking at the photo of this orchid and the photo of my purple martin, which I really consider a true, well, not true blue, but true cerulean color. So this orchid definitely has a lot more red undertone to it, and I think that has to do with the tetraspis red variety that's in the Jennifer Palomar. But other than that, I really don't have any complaints about this orchid. Actually, there is one thing. You see how the leaves are growing? I don't really like it because parts of it was just somehow crooked. But I'll have to wait until all the leaves grow out, and then I can position it better once I repot this orchid. So that would be the only thing I would complain and criticize about this orchid. But otherwise, so far so good. I really like the color, the shape, and the substantial feeling to the flower. And here is a bonus footage that you may have already seen if you look at my miniatures orchid video. They were in bloom at the same time, had a few days overlap with one another. So I decided to put them together and give you a better perspective in terms of how their color compare against one another. And like I said in other videos, it's hard to give you a true comparison when you are only talking about one orchid in a video, because sometimes the camera or even just different people's computer may render different colors differently. And I noticed that my camera sometimes under different lighting, the same flower or the same orchid, the same blue, the same purple will show up differently. And here we have Violacea indigo comparing against today's Bluestar. The Violacea indigo was darker in the indigo color, but it was already on its way out, and that's why it just looked a little lighter. And also that was the last bloom of the indigo, so that also may have something to do with the lighter color. And here we have Violacea caerulea. This is a first bloom of that orchid under my care. And the caerulea and the Bluestar color, they're pretty similar. And here is a photo of them being side by side. Hope you like it. This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!